Hey there and welcome to another video. My name is Hugh, and in this video I'm going to go over a hedging trade that didn't work out. And first I'm going to set up the trade. I'm going to show you what I did, and then I'm going to show you the final results at the end. So it's very beneficial to see a successful trade, but I think it's equally, if not more beneficial, to see a trade that did not work out, so you can see how I got out of it. Now this was a live trade that was done in one of my real money accounts. All right, let's get into it. All right, so this is the USD CAD on the 4-hour, and I want to show you the higher time frame because this is where I set it up, and this is where I look for the support and resistance levels. So when I entered the trade last week, I was looking at the chart and it looked like this. So I set up this resistance zone here and then a resistance zone higher. So those were the two levels I was looking at. And then of course I look at momentum. So momentum was down, and I thought the price would probably bounce off this zone here and then head back probably into this neighborhood here. So that was the idea behind the trade. So let's take a look at how this trade actually worked out. Okay, so this is the point where I started tracking the trade. On the 1-hour chart, I saw some big wicks going into the zone there. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to wait for price to get further into the zone so I could get a better entry. So I wanted to short. So let's move the chart forward and see what I did. Okay, so price popped into there. I kind of missed that trade, but I also wanted to see, or I wanted to make sure that price wasn't going to penetrate the zone. So I waited for a little bit and it looked like price was going to drop, and then it popped up and popped back. So I was like, okay, that's a pretty good sign for me. That's good enough. So I entered there. You can see the red arrow, and that was nicely inside the zone. It was not ideal. Ideal would have been maybe about here, but that's okay. I just missed out on a few pips. So I'm going to move forward. And I was wrong about this trade. So price popped the zone. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I need to hedge this. I only had one position open, and I usually take up to 3 positions on either side. And if I'm not too sure about the trade, I'll take one and then let the market unfold, and I get more information that way. So once I get more information, I can decide if I want to put in more trades or if I just want to keep that one entry. So in this case, I just kept the one entry, and price popped out of there. So I was like, okay, where is a good place to hedge? Price dropped down. I thought, okay, maybe this is going to turn around again and go in my favor. So I didn't do anything. So just watching, and I'm also watching this upper level here. So this upper resistance zone, and I want to see if price is going to respect that zone or not. And that will help me make some decisions. So going forward, looks like price is going to drop again, but it doesn't. And then now I start to get some big wicks on the bottom, so price might move up. Okay, so price is moving up, and it's pretty significantly outside of the zone that I was trading here. So at this point, I'm like, okay, if price, or not if, but I want to hedge at this point, right? So it's all a matter of waiting for price to retrace a little bit, and then I can get a good hedge in. So moving forward, price popped even more. So that was even more verification that I should hedge on this, but it was still respecting that upper resistance level. So I'm going to move forward. And at this point, I was like, okay, this I need to hedge this. So I'm going to look for a good place to hedge and see if I can find a nice retracement area. So price retraced pretty deeply. And this could be forming a base to go back up again. So I wanted to be sure to hedge. And that's where I hedge right there. You can see the blue arrow. Now, I'm going to move forward and see what else happens. Now, what I'm looking for is, okay, is price going to respect this upper level? And is there a high probability that price is going to drop below my initial entry? So I took that blue trade there. So now I'm 100% hedged. And I only have the risk between the buy and the sell. So it looks like price is respecting that upper resistance level. So at that point, I decided to take another sell. You can see the red arrow there. And that means I have 2 sells on and 1 buy. So I'm 50% hedged, and I have a downward bias. So price kept on moving. And at that point, it looked like price was really respecting this upper resistance level. So I decided to close out the buy. and just kind of wait for price to move back down, because I saw a higher high here, or a high here, and then a lower high here, and should be a lower high. At least that's what I thought at that point. So that's why I closed that out. And then I actually entered a sell there. So you can see the red line starting to form. So I'm maxed out on the number of sells that I can have. So I have 3 sells right now in this area. So moving forward, I actually closed out that sell and took a small profit, because I had 3 sells on and they were naked, not hedged. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of profit there. Took that out and put on another buy just to be sure that I was 50% hedged. So the buy is going forward, and now it's in the money. At least that second sell is in the money. But I wanted to see what price was going to do. I actually, since I'm only 50% hedged, if price drops significantly, then if I left this alone, there would be 2 shorts and 1 long. So I would make money at a certain point, right, when price dropped. So I just left that in place to see what would happen. And sometimes you just have to be patient with these things and just wait it out. You're not going to always get an instant result. So it looked pretty good. Price looked like it was going to drop, and then boom, it popped up again. Now at this point, what I want to do is I want to look for how price is reacting to that upper resistance level, right? So price dropped off, price popped up again, dropped off. So at this point, it looks like price is going to respect that level again. So in hindsight, I probably should have shorted, maybe at least into the level, into this previous spike. Maybe somewhere around here would have been a good trade, and that would have been easy entry and exit down here, or maybe even down here. But you can't get it right all the time, and I'm not perfect on these things, and nobody is. But the beauty of hedging is that you can be very flexible, and you can see what the market's going to do. You can take a position here, take a position there, and exit when you feel that it's right, instead of having a stop loss and getting stopped out all the time. So, okay, so I kept the 3 positions in place. And again, I am just looking for a big drop, because that's going to cash out the 2 shorts and then probably help, or it will cash out the 2 shorts and then net out against the loss on the buy side, right? So I started to see price rejecting this level here, and this is basically a second spike pattern, right? You have a big run up, you have the elbow here, and then price runs into the elbow and then rejects. So at that point, I was like, okay, it looks like price might be ready to drop at this point. So I exited the buy there, and then that was a good call because price did drop. So moving forward, I'm sorry, I didn't exit it there. There's where I exited. Sorry. Yeah, similar point, but yeah, so you can see the arrow there, and that's where I exited the buy. And with this big pin bar here, you got high, lower high, lower high. So I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to go. So close out the buy, took a small loss, and as you can see, price dropped significantly, and then it dropped through the other sell. And at that point, I closed it out there and closed it out there at a profit on both of the sells, and I was totally flat at that point. Now let's take a look at the trade review and if I could have done better. Okay, so I zoomed out on this trade a little bit, and number one, I can see that I could have shorted here. That would have been a good short. And number two, I could have held this second trade, or even this other sell. I could have held it for maybe a little bit longer, but I'm not going to stress about that. That would have probably been the ideal exit. And then on this trade, probably exiting around here would have been a good idea. But again, that's not a huge variance in pips. So I believe in hedging, it's always better to take your profits when you have it. So that's a pretty good exit in my opinion. But those were the only two possible improvements that I would have made to this trade. Now let's take a look at the actual profit and losses. Okay, so I put this in a spreadsheet so it's easy to calculate. The first sell had a profit of 23.6 pips. And these lot sizes were all the same. I keep my entry sizes the same, so I'm going to put this in pips, and that can be scaled up or scaled down to any size account, right? So the first one was a sell, made 23.6 pips. Second one was a buy, 17.8. Third trade was plus 12.5. Fourth trade was plus 7.3. And that last buy that I mentioned was a losing trade, so I lost 10.1 pips. And that netted out to a profit of 51.1 pips. And that's how you use hedging to go in and out of the market. And you don't have to be 100% hedged all the time. And that's the misconception that a lot of people have. If you are 100% hedged all the time, you obviously won't make any money because you will only make or lose whatever's between the two hedges. But if you take them on, put them off, take them on, and that will allow you to profit from the moves. And it really is about reading price action. So if you want to learn more about my hedging method, the link to my course is in the description below. If you're brand new to hedging, watch this video and it will give you all the basics. All right, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any more questions, leave it in the comments below. If you want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks for watching.